The final step of this process is to find the x-intercepts. So we have just found the y-intercept, which is the c term. And then we're going to plot these x-intercepts. So to find the x-intercept, I'll continue down. I know this is long. You probably write a little bit smaller than I do, and I will give you enough room on your paper to write this out, though. X-intercepts. The way I'm going to teach it is what, remember from the notes in the introduction, is you need to factor the quadratic function. So I'm going to write factor. And I'm going to rewrite the quadratic function so I know what I'm working with here. Negative x squared. But again, I'm going to use this format. Alright? So I'm just going to factor the one where I've already factored out the negative 1. So we've already done that, so I revisit this one, not the original. Alright, this is going to make the x-intercepts make sense. And again, if the original wasn't negative, then you wouldn't have to factor out a negative. You could just jump straight to factoring it. But it is x squared plus 8x plus 12 is what I'm going to factor. We're going to hit factoring a lot in Module 3 as well. So I'm going to teach a way called Mac Ab T-chart. What that means, I draw what looks like a T-chart. I put Mac here and Ab here. So please make note of that. Mac stands for multiply the A term, which is here. This is the B term, and this is the C term. Use a different color. So A term in this case is a hidden 1. The C term is 12. So you multiply the A and the C term together, and that goes right here. 1 times 12 is 12. And then AB stands for whatever factors multiplied to this, the A and C term, they add to the B term. So I just put the B term right here. That is just a table to help me visualize this as I'm doing this. To help me think of factors that go into 12 that add up to 8. Now, if you can't, some of you will be able to mentally just think about this right away. Factors of 12 that multiply to 12 but add up to 8. If you can't do that, then I always start with 1. And 12 divided by 1 is 12. Always, I need to see this work done out while you're factoring. Otherwise, if I don't see this on your paper, then I can't answer questions until you give it a shot. Factoring is a lot of just guess and check work. Some of it will come easier to you, some you'll have to think about it a little bit. Because sometimes it can be positive or negative. So you start with 1 and its partner 12. Now 1 times 12 does add up to 12, but 1 plus 12 equals 13. So this doesn't work. So then you just go down the line, 2, comma. The next number after 1 is 2, so I'll try 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 2 plus 6 in this case does indeed equal 8. So I have found my factors. Now sometimes you might have to manipulate the negatives and think that way, but this is the process. You start with 1, if that doesn't work, try 2. If that doesn't work, try 3. If that doesn't work, try 4. Go down the line. I need to see that process, the guess and check process. So I have found my factors. So I'm going to then write it in factored form. Factored form. This is very important to know as well. So I have y equals x, it's a positive 2, so plus 2, and x plus 6. That's factored, and if you remember from the notes, I'm going to set both of my factors equal to 0 and solve. So I have x plus 2. You have to get to this point. You have to be able to write it like that, with parentheses around both factors. But then to solve them, I have x plus 2 equals 0. So I'll write solve above here. And then x plus 6 equals 0. So I'm going to subtract 2 from this side, subtract 2 from this side, so I have x equals negative 2 because I had to get x by itself. And then to get x by itself over here, I subtract 6, I have x equals negative 6 over here. I have just found both my x-intercepts. There's 2 of them because it's a quadratic. Negative 2, negative 6. So if I go back up here, I go to negative 2 and negative 6. So those are the key points. I know that my y-intercept hits somewhere down at negative 12, but I can connect the dots just like this and draw a rough sketch. And I have done every step that is necessary to graph a function. It is important to note that technically the plotted point of this x value is negative 2, 0, and negative 6, 0. It makes sense x-intercepts have a y value of 0, and the y-intercept has an x value of 0. That is how you find the x-intercepts.